Yeah, good morning. Back here with a lesson. Now, all these days, I think you have completed successfully the third test of a descriptive type, and you have did your performance well. Hoping like that, we'll go with our syllabus now. The last some topics has been left out of an in a last unit that we will complete that. So as we started within a last unit as computer network security, in that we have discussed what is the importance of cipher and how a cipher will works and how the security is very much important, how a eavesdrop will be occurred between two real persons or a host, how if they are exchanging the information, eavesdrop will be there. Somebody will take out that particular data and they can manipulate that particular data, or they can view that particular data and send back to the destination, or they will destroy that particular information. So this is a major problems which has been we discussed in a last class, and I have told you how the cipher techniques will be used, how an alphabetical things will be shifted with one place to the another place, means A will be shifted to D and everything will be encrypted, and again it will be minused by 4. So that example we have seen, so that also we had discussed. Now we'll go in depth of that particular cipher, and we'll see the different types of the encryption and decryption methods, which is symmetric and asymmetric, and how a key role will be there in that particular symmetric and an asymmetric encryption and decryption systems. So that today we are going to see, and we'll see how a key management can be done in that particular process. Now I'll share this particular slide, and you can see that particular back here. Yeah. So now back, we have discussed all these problems, and we are here again. So we came back, principles of cybers also we have discussed, blocking cybers we have, block ciphers we have discussed. Yeah, come back to the symmetric ciphers. Now symmetric ciphers means, what is that? In a symmetric key cipher, both participants in a communication share the same key. In other words, if a message is encrypted using a particular key, the same key is required for decrypting the message. Very simple. So, for example, assume that one lock is there. I will use one particular key to close that particular lock. As you know, whatever maybe in your house and all, the same key will be used to open a door. So that is called an symmetric. The same key must be there. For example, I will use one particular key for an encryption of this particular data. After an encryption at the destination side, the user means the destination host needs the same key for a decryption. Then here the question arises, how this key can be maintained, how the means how the source and the destination persons will come to know about this particular key. So for example, I'll tell you, assume that we'll fix one static key and we'll keep on using that. Somebody, hackers can guess easily. So meanwhile, we have to change our particular keys also. Then how the information of a key can be given to the destination fellow? Assume that with the whatever the code is there, if we send a key also, if hacker will take that particular, or if a eavesdrop person will take that particular details, if he debugs that particular key, decrypting is very easy for him. So this will become a major problem. So then we'll see in this particular symmetric how these particular things will go. Now coming to the next, symmetric key ciphers, how this particular there are different methods is going to work. The US National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, issued a standards for a series of symmetric key ciphers. In that, the first one is the ES algorithm. That is data encryption standard was the first, and it has stood the test of time. In that, no cryptanalytic attack better than brute force search has been discovered. So if somebody has to attack for that particular key, they have to use only the brute force search. The brute force search will take a long time for debugging that particular key. So within that particular time, if you complete your transaction or if you complete your work, the eavesdrop person or hacker in between, he can't get that particular information. That is the way the OTP plays a very much important role in now today's transaction. That is one time password which has been sent to the mobile or which has been sent to some else other product based on a mobile number. While sending even that particular OTP is also encrypted. Now you can see the brute force search, however, has gotten the faster. DES keys 56 independent bits are now too small, even current processor speeds. Now imagine how, for example, whatever standardized we are making to protect our information, that means hackers will do more than that, and they will find a solutions to break that particular security. Even the brute force search, what we think that it will become a late. Now today in this particular processors, multi processors and all, it became a very fast, and within no time they can hack your particular key. So that is the one another one important thing. Now coming to the next thing, the 3DES algorithm. So triple DES algorithm is the improved version of a DES algorithm. A 3DES key as in a previous only DES key there is a 56 bit. Now here 168 independent bits of key will be there. That is 3256. So independent bits. No, and is used as a 3DES keys. Observe why 3DES, triple DES algorithm, why the name 3 came. Let's call them DES key 1, DES key 2 and DES key 3. What do you mean by this? One particular information will be locked first with a one key. Again, that entire thing is locked with another key. That entire thing is locked with another key. That means 3 coverings will be there within a locking system. So the person, you can hack one particular key which you are sending, in that another key is there. So for that again some process should be needed. So it will take a long time for an eavesdrop person or an hacker to do that particular thing. So 3DES encryption of a block is performed by the first DES encrypting the block using DES key 1, then DES decrypting the result using DES key 2, and finally DES encrypting that result using DES key 3. As I told you, decryption involves the decrypting using reverse process. That is key 3 and key 2 and key 1. So in this way it has to be done. Now symmetric key ciphers, how it will works. The in 3DES is being superseded by the advanced, that is AES algorithm. What is this AES? That is advanced encryption standard. Means it has been somewhat improved. What is this AES algorithm? The cipher selected to become that the standard. The standard was originally named Ringnadel, the person who founded that, based on the names of its inventors, that is Damon and Richmond. Now AES supports a key length of 128-bit and 192-bit or 256 bits, and block length, whatever a block length maximum block of bytes it can take is 128 bytes. So for 128 bytes of a block, you can apply the key of 128 or 192 256 the bits of a key. Now, public key ciphers. How this public key ciphers will work in a asymmetric thing. Now we'll come to the asymmetric cipher methods. An alternative to the symmetric key ciphers is a asymmetric or a public key ciphers. What do you mean by this? For example, I will tell you like this. We will take a general thing, general format of one particular thing. My name is so and so, means I will make my public key and I will put it's open to everyone. You can ask me the question, it's open to everyone means somebody can take and somebody can decrypt it. No, it's not like that. See, using my private key, I will do the encryption. So to decrypt, only public key will be used. So encryption can be done using only that particular private key, where this private key is interlinked with this. For this, I will give you one real-time example. That is, whatever the calls we are receiving and whatever calls we are sending through the mobile communication, how these things will work. Just I will tell you. Everyone knows your mobile number. Am I right? Yes, everyone knows your mobile number. For example, assume that my mobile number is there. So I will dial one particular mobile number and I want to speak. Once the connection has been established from that the dialed number fellow, whoever is there, then the talk will start between the two persons. Then the talk should be, the voice should be encrypted from the sender side and it should be decrypted by the receiver side. For example, how these things will be done, I will tell you this. Assume I am calling my friend with 10 digits mobile number, okay, which I know. So that will be used. That will be used with the combination that will be used, and the encryption will be done. That public key will be used and encryption will be done, and that information will be sent. Now, once that information will be sent, to decrypt that particular thing at a receiver side, mobile number is not needed. He needs his SIM number. The SIM number is known only to the company fellow and that particular customer. So this is very much important. Now, SIM number will become a private key and phone number will become the public key. Now, instead of a single key shared by two participants, a public key cipher uses a pair of related keys, one for encryption and a different one for decryption. As I told you, the pair of keys is owned by just one participant. The owner keeps the decryption key secret so that only the owner can decrypt these messages. That key is called a private key. As I told you, the SIM number will be there only at a call receiving a person. Only at a call receiving person. So when he receives with his phone number, the SIM number combination should be there to decrypt. Otherwise, decryption will not be done of that particular voice. So coming to the next thing, that is public key ciphers. Continuing with that, the owner makes the encryption key public so that anyone can encrypt the messages for the owner. That is, if I want to call that particular person, his mobile number I should know. Otherwise, I can't call that particular person. So mobile number will become a public key here. That key is called a public key. Obviously, for such a scheme to work, it must not be possible to deduce the private key from the public key. Consistently, a participant can get the public key and send an encrypted message to the owner of the keys, and only the owner has a private key necessary to decrypt it. So in this way, both the keys will be used for encryption and decryption functions. Coming to the next, public key ciphers. How this public key ciphers will work. Message in a plain text is there, encrypt is there, message in ciphertext. Once encryption has been done using a public key, public will be there with everyone. Then here you will also use a public key, and these things will be keep on going. And a call receiving person, whoever will be there here of that particular number at his particular time, a private key will be there, which will be known to only him. This is very much important. The SIM number is registered only in that particular thing. For example, if you ask me what is your friend's mobile number, I can tell. What is your friend's SIM number? If you ask him, definitely I can't tell. So this is a major thing which will be there in that particular concept. So that is a private key which will be used for a decryption of the data. Coming to the next thing, an important additional property of a public key ciphers is that the private decryption key can be used with the encryption algorithm to encrypt messages so that they can only be decrypted using the public encryption. So again, not directly you can do the decryption there. You can adapt some particular algorithm while doing an encryption also. That is AES algorithm or RSA algorithm is the one which will be used in a public key sectors, RSA algorithm. So this properly clear wouldn't be useful for a confidential, since anyone with the public key could decrypt such a message. This property is, however, useful for authentication, since it tells the receiver of such a message that it could only have been created by the owner of that particular case. Now you can see how a public key ciphers will be taken. The private key will be used for encryption, and the encrypted messages is a public key for decryption. It will become only for authentication purpose. You can use this, not for any encryption of data purpose we are going to use. Coming to the next thing, RSA algorithm. Now you see here what is a RSA algorithm. RSA is given by a name by its founders, that Rivers, Shammer, and an Aldelman. So these are the three persons who used this particular thing, which will works with an public key concepts, and they are using the public key ciphers, means to maintain a particular keys. They are using Diffie-Hellman algorithm, which has been introduced in 1976. Another public key cipher is called as EGMAL. So like RSA, it reveals on a mathematical problem the discrete algorithm problem, for which no efficient solution has been found and requires keys of at least 1024 bytes, so which is most powerful. Now, authenticator. Who is this authenticator? So this is very much important. See, whenever before sending an information, authentication is very much important. When I will dial one particular number, authentication of number, either this person is having a currency, means either this person is valid to receive a call, sir. Either this number is belongs to this telecom company only. How this particular authentication can be done? An authenticator is a value to be included in a transmitted message that can be used to verify simultaneously the authenticity and the data integrity of that message. Why, whatever the voice I'm speaking out with my friend, it can't be cross connected and goes to the other person. He can listen that. No, each and every bit of the voice block, what I am speaking, it should be authenticated. Means some authentication should be there that for that block, and it should go to my destination person only. One kind of authenticator combines the encryption and cryptographic hash function. So how to maintain my signature in my sending messages? So for that, we are going to use a hash function. So cryptographic hash algorithms are treated as a public knowledge as with an cipher algorithms. So a cryptographic hash function, also known as a cryptographic checksum, is a function that outputs sufficient redundant information about a message to expose any tampering. So what is this? I will use some, after encryption everything, I will use some hash function. What is a hash function? Just I will tell you. Finding in a mod of a particular value. That's an hash function. For example, I will use, so whatever the sum of all the ASCII values, as one value I will fix, whatever data you encrypted data, sum of that I will take and divide by 12. 12 is a number which is used as a hash key always form. So whatever the mod means remainder is there, that will be added as a key, and it will be meant for me always, and it will be sent. So the person who is there, so they will divide using same, and they will cross check with this particular remainder. If both is correct, oh yes, the authenticator is correct, and so person is the authenticator. So in this way, it will be done. The checksum or a CRC exposes bit errors introduced by noise links. To find that bit errors and all, we are going to use a CRC here. Now coming to the authenticator methods, which method they can use? They can use a SHA method, that is secure hash algorithm 1. Today we are using secure hash algorithm 5, which is most powerful to maintain a digital signature. That is a digest encrypted with a public key algorithm, but using the private key is called as a digital signature because it provides non-repudiation like a written signature. That means somebody will use, I will use my friend's mobile number and I will call that particular person, means that public key, whatever I am using, it should represent always the SIM number. So always the public number and SIM number is both interrelated. Assume with some hash function, I will interrelate with these two mobile number and a SIM number. I will relate with this with an hash function. That hash number, hash function, which will be kept as a secret digital signature of that particular mobile person. Coming to the next thing, the another kind of authenticator is simpler, but instead of encrypting an hash, it uses a hash like function that takes a security value as a parameter. That is called as a message authentication code. That is nothing but MAC code. The sender appends the MAC into their plain's text, and receiver recomputes the MAC. As I told you, they will take that particular number, divide it by, and recomputes it, and he compares the reported value. If both the MAC values are matching, then the word sent message is correct and the signature is correct. Coming to the next thing, so this MAC will be applied in a SHA-1 also, and the further most effective one is HMAC. Coming to the next, how the authenticator will have authentication on this particular thing using a MAC. Plain text will be there, security value will be there, both will be applied with a MAC value. MAC to appended message will be done. B, plain text, security values is there, so concatenate both of that, plain text and the security values. In a hash function, we will apply a hash function using both the things. So the remainder, whatever is there, means the bug, whatever is there, that HMAC to be appended to the message. The same result should come to the destination person. Then that will be done. Now, how a key distribution will be done? Always the key distributions will be done using a LF method. So this is a one method of an key distribution. Why key distribution should be done? Means how the hash value, whatever will be there, the digital signature can be exchanged from one person to the another person. To use the ciphers and authenticators, the communicating participants need to know that keys to use. So this is very much important, which ciphers we should use and which type of keys we should use. The authenticator should authenticate that. In the case of a symmetric key cipher, how does a pair of participants obtain the key they share, especially in a symmetric? How a key can be used? Why? Because your only single key will be there for an encryption and an. In the case of public key cipher, how do participants know that public key belongs to a certain participant? This is very important. Lot of public keys is there, lot of mobile numbers is there. So this number belongs to only that person who knows this. The answer differs depending on whether the keys are short-lived session keys or longer-lived pre-distributed keys. Either this key should be valid for how much time which has been generated. For example, you are going to do many online transactions. In online transactions, OTP will be generated. OTP is a key here, right? So this key should be shared between both the source and a destination. That means, for example, I am doing one bank transaction, and my bank transaction fellow will generate one OTP, and that OTP will be given to me. If I will enter that OTP, my bank fellow should authenticate my transaction. That means here we are the both persons, we should know that OTP, no other person should know this. So how this distribution will be done? This is a real-time best example which you can take into the consideration. Now, a session key is a key used to secure a single relatively short exposed of a communication a session. Now, what happens once the OTP has been generated, with that a session key will also be generated. What is the session key? For example, the life of an OTP within 2 minutes you have to enter, or within 3 minutes you have to enter this OTP. Otherwise, OTP will be lapsed. Some messages you can see when you are doing transactions. Why that things will be there? Why? Because the session time will be fixed for that OTP session. So now each distinct session between a pair of participants uses a new session key, which is always a symmetric key for speed. The participants determine what session key to use by means of a protocol. A session key establishment protocol will be there. A session key establishment protocol needs its own security to encrypt and decrypt. Now, coming to, there are several motivations for this division of labor between the session keys and pre-distributed keys. Limiting the amount of time a key is used results in a less time for computational incentive attacks. So that is very much important. If you keep a very less time for your OTP, for example, assume 2 minutes. To why 2 minutes will be fixed? Within 2 minutes, that OTP password cannot be decrypted by attackers. That means it's very simple. You can see any of now fraud means things and all. Even though if you lost your card or some your card number, every maybe lost without a OTP, the person can't do. They in turn they call you that we are from so and so bank and we are calling and we are refreshing your account and now you will get some OTP password. Please tell that password within this time, then we can refresh your account and your new account will be generated or you will get so and so money. Some, you know, this lot of messages or lot of calls will be keep on coming like this. Otherwise you got the new money from your insurance, the extra money is there, we want to put it to your account. Now you have to give your account number. We know this is your account number, it's correct. Then they will tell within so and so time OTP will come. If you give this OTP, this many lakhs will put in your account. Like this, a lot of phone calls, fraud calls will be there, which you can examine. They need a OTP. That means that without a OTP, even they can't do the fraud. So you don't give. That's why many bank messages will come that don't share OTP, even though with the bank persons, even though they are telling that these are the bank persons and somebody or bank related persons are there or any company related are there, don't share with anybody, even our employees also. The bank will be keep on telling because of this particular reason. It's a one important thing which you should know. Next, so pre-distribution of a public key is how a public key can be distributed. The algorithms to generate a matched pair of a public and a private keys and publicly known and software that does it is widely available. So for example, we'll take one example. So if Alex wanted to use a public key cipher, she would generate her own pair of public key and private keys, keep the private key hidden and publicize the public key. Always. But now, can she publicize her public key, assert that it belongs to her in such a way that other participants can be sure it really belongs to her? This is very much important. I will tell you one real fact. See, I am having my public key and I have kept my public key. Okay. Some other person on my name, he will create a public key and he will keep and he will have his own private key. Now assume that my friend will see that public key and you want to send me the information. Instead of taking my public key, my friend will take, means attackers, whoever created the attacker public key on my name, they will take that and they will send a message. Then attacker can easily take that particular message. Then what is the authentication that my public key is mine, that's mine only? So this is again the problem. Then how this problem will be solved? For this we are going to use public key infrastructure, PKI. This is very much concept and most of research is going on this particular field. A complete scheme for certifying the bindings between the public keys and identities, what key belongs to who is called a public key infrastructure. This is called as certifications of that particular transaction or certifications of that particular website, which is very much important. A PKI starts with the ability to verify identities and bind them to the keys out of band. So by out of band, we mean sometimes outside the network and computers that comprise it, such such as in the following scenarios. If Alex and Bob are individuals who know each other, then they could get together in the same room. This is important. And Alex could give her public key to Bob directly, perhaps on a business card. So for see Alex and Bob, we need one room, one place where we should know each other. So how it can be done? My business card I can give. Otherwise, one place is there, authenticated place. There I will keep my particular key, not else others way. That authentication room, whatever key is there, that is meant to only the some persons who are certified persons. If mob is an sorry, if Bob is an organization, Alex, the individual, could present a conventional identification, perhaps including a photography and a fingerprints. Your Aadhaar card you give, everything you give, PAN card you give. Your bank will authenticate everything with your account number, everything. Later on, after giving username and a password, authenticating that, then the OTP will come. Keep in your minds. These things will be known only to you, and then your public key will be shown. So if Alex and Bob are computers owned by the same company, then the system administrator will configure the public keys. A digitally signed statement of a public key binding is called as a public key certificate, which must be there before handling that particular public key. So for that, especially the bank systems, they are using X.509 protocol, which is meant for only for that Kerberos. We will call that as an Kerberos security for on a bank system, which will use X.509 protocol. A certificate clearly must include the identity of the entity being certified, the public key of the entity being certified, the identity of the signer, the digital signature of that particular person, a digital signature algorithm identifier. All these things must be certified first. Coming to the how this certification authorities. For that, how the certification will be authorized. A certification authority or a certification authority CA is an entity claimed to be trustworthy for verifying identities and issuing a public key certificates. That will be a one company authorized fellow who will certify our identities or credentials, and he will tell, okay, you can use now public key. CAs also and governmental CAs, that means gateways for a transactions of the many things you can give. You can see today the gateways plays a very much important role. That are the certificate authenticating companies. To use a CA, you must know its own key. You can learn that CA's key. However, if you can obtain a chain of CA signed certificates. So in this way, this particular thing will be work. In this way, in a symmetric, the keys exchange will be done. Now you can see here the example, the how the authentication protocols will work. A TA token will be generated from Alex and it will be sent to the Bob. Now observe here, A is equal to Alex, B is equal to Bob, and TA timestamp from the Alex clock. It has been came. Digital signed using Bob's private key will be done to take that public key, and it will be sent. The TA acknowledgement has been sent with B. Now this TA can use that. Now observe. T1 A will be sent. A is equal to Alex, B is equal to Bob, T1, the first timestamp. Digitally signed using X's private key. Whoever X is there, that person is a X. Now what happens is encrypt using X public key and it will be sent back. So in this way, the public key exchange will be done. So you can read it out in detail. All these things will be there. Again, key distribution of symmetric keys will be done with the Diffie-Hellman Key Agreement. Also, Diffie-Hellman is an algorithm which with the key exchanges or distributions can be done. The Diffie-Hellman Key Agreement protocol establishes a session key without using any pre-distributed keys. The messages exchanged between Alex and Bob can be read by anyone able to eavesdrop, and yet the eavesdropper won't know the session key that Alex and Bob end up with. This is very much important. A session key, they don't know that. On the other hand, Diffie-Hellman does not authenticate the participants, though it never authenticates in between participants, since it is rarely useful to communicate securely without being sure whom you are communicating with. Diffie-Hellman is usually augmented in some way to provide the authentication. One of the main uses of Diffie-Hellman is in the Internet Key Exchange (IKE) protocol, a central part of the IP security architecture which has been used. Now, the Diffie-Hellman protocol has a two parameters P and a G, both of which are public and may be used by all the users in a particular system. A parameter P must be a primary number, the integers mod of that particular P, or 0 through P minus 1. Since x mod of P is a remainder after x is divided by P, and from what mathematics call a group under the multiplication. So again, you should multiply that. This is an algorithm. Again, so thus n is equal to g to the power of k mod of p. So the parameter must be a primitive root of a p for every number n from 1. There must be some value k such that the k will be taken into the considerations. So how a Diffie-Hellman algorithm will work? 1 is equal to the power of 0 mod of p. So where you can take, if p were the prime number 5, which will be taken into the consideration. Now 2 to the power of 0 is 1 mod of 5. So which you can take 1 only. Then 2 to the power of 1 is 2. 2 mod of 5 is 2 only. Then 2 to the power of 3 here. So that is 8. 8 mod of 5. 8 ones are sorry, 5 ones are 5, 3 is a remainder, so 3. So 2 square, 4 is there. So 4 mod of 5 is 4 only. Like that, which you can take into the considerations. So now again, this real-time example, which is there with the pre-distribution of a symmetric case, which will be done with Alex and Bob, which you can read this scenario of a previous example and you can evaluate this in exam. This example plays a very much important role. Definite question will be there. Explain a Diffie-Hellman key distribution algorithm with an example. This is an example here which has been done. So then pretty good privacy is there. That is a PGP protocol which we are going to discuss in a next coming classes. So we'll discuss that and SHL, that's some security protocols. After discussing that, we'll go wireless security. That ends up your portions. And next we'll go for an applications in a next class. So if possible, Monday I'm going to take a class in the afternoon. So then Tuesday also there is a class I'm going to take for you. Definitely Tuesday or Wednesday we are going to complete our syllabus. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.